Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. Today is an iTrackBites exclusive video. I want to talk to you about my absolute favorite game-changing feature on the iTrackBites app. So if you're curious to know what that is, stay tuned. For those of you that don't know who I am, hello, my name is Brianna and I am the diva behind Diva and the Divine, but I am also one of the iTrackBites ambassadors, which means that my loyalty to iTrackBites is high, but it is because of my high loyalty that they chose me as one of their original ambassadors when they first launched the program, and it has been an honor to support an app that has supported me for so much longer. Today I want to talk to you about my favorite feature on iTrackBites, and it is a pro-only feature, which means you have to have the paid annual subscription to the iTrackBites app in order to access this feature. But you guys, this feature, in my opinion, is absolutely game-changing and changed the way I tracked all the things, no joke, and that is the secondary metric. You've probably seen the secondary metric talked about when people are talking about tracking calories alongside their bites. So what is the secondary metric? Well, the secondary metric is a secondary feature that allows you to track something other than your initial plan, other than your bites. So regardless of what plan you are on, the secondary metric options that you have are calories and macros. Calories are, of course, what number of calories you are consuming in addition to your bites. And macros are the macronutrient breakdown of the food you're eating based on the nutrition information that is entered in the app. The macronutrients that it tracks, which are the only macronutrients out there, are fat, protein, and carbohydrate. Using the secondary metric, you have the opportunity to track one of these things alongside the bites plan that you choose, which I just think is the greatest thing, especially since tracking your bites and your calories to kind of check in and see where you're at in terms of overall calorie consumption is pretty on trend right now, don't you think? For example, up until recently, I was on the carb conscious plan for 2 or so years on the iTrackBites app. When I got access to the secondary metric, which I'm pretty sure was right away because I did not hesitate to pay for Pro the second I downloaded the app. But once I did that, I had the opportunity to be like, okay, you get 26 bites in a day, no problem. And you can see all of the workings up top of how your bites are going. And then underneath my bites, I will see how many calories I consumed or what my macro balance is of the food I consumed for the day, which is a very exciting and helpful thing for me to see because I love data. If you guys have followed me for any period of time, you know that I love experiments, I love data, I love figuring out how my body works and how the numbers of all things, not just my weight, but like all the numbers, how satisfied I am, how I'm feeling, how my energy levels are, how my workout recovery is. I love all the numbers, and having access to the secondary metric allows me to track all the numbers, or at least some additional numbers, and I find it so much fun, and it's very, very helpful. So the first thing I wanted to do was give you a little quick tutorial of how the secondary metric feature works, how to turn it on, how to toggle back and forth between macros and calories, and what it looks like when you are on a bites plan or when you are on tracking calories on Calorie Command. Because for those of you that don't know, I was on carb conscious up until recently. I announced that I'm stepping away from that plan and exclusively counting calories. Newsflash, I can still use the secondary metric, and now that calories is my main method of tracking, my secondary metric always has my macros underneath it, which is still so stinking helpful since I track my protein every single day. So let me dive in, let me show you the little screen recordings that I have of how to use the secondary metric, and then I will dabble in a couple of other things that you probably need to know before utilizing this feature yourself. So when you're in the iTrackBites app, as you can see, I have the Carb Conscious plan on up at the top. And you can currently see that I have macros turned on underneath the bites value. If you go to Profile in the lower right-hand corner, click on that, and then you click Settings in the upper right-hand corner, this is what you will see. Then you go to Settings again. And you will see on the bottom portion where it says Tracker Options, Secondary Metric is turned on. If you click on that, you will be able to toggle between calories and macros. So if I want to switch to calories, I just click Calories, Save, and if I go back to my tracker,
it will tell me my calorie count. Now, as you can see, so I just switched my tracker back over to carb conscious for the sake of this video. So as you can see, calories is here, but what I want to show you is you have manual control over what that calorie option is. So if you go to profile, settings, weight loss plan, you can plug in calories manual allowance and you can toggle and switch whatever you want your calorie goal to be. So for the sake of this video, let's say I want it to be 1600 calories. I switch it to that and then I click save. And then if you go back to your profile, you will notice that now your calorie secondary metric says 1600 calories. In the same way, if I go back and decide that I want to do macro tracking, that's all well and good. Turn macros back on. Then when you go to weight loss plan, you will see that there are macros that you can manually screw around with as well. So say you want lower fat, and these are just arbitrary numbers that I'm doing. Lower carb and stupidly high protein. I don't know. Let's just, that says 90%. All right, so let's bump that up and let's bump that up. So now I have 100% of my macro allowance that I have controlled, and that is what appears on the macro section of secondary metric. And you can freely toggle between the two goals once you have them set. In the same way, if I go back and decide that I want to be tracking just calories, so I go on calorie command, right? And I go ahead and switch my allowance to be whatever it is I want it to be. Again, these are just for me, not for anybody else's numbers, so don't use my numbers. 1700 calories a day. I like to make sure I get ample protein in my life. Maybe let's do 25% protein. No, I like 30. I like that number better. So we're gonna bump down carbs a little bit, and then we're gonna bump down fat. Oh no, wait, we don't need to bump down fat. Okay, so those are my macros that I've set, and those are my calories that I've set. Reminder, I am on calorie command now. So what you can see is I will have the 1700 a day calorie goal, and then it will automatically track the other secondary metric, because the first secondary metric of calories is the plan that I currently have the tracker on. Therefore, the only secondary metric there is to track is the macros. That's what your tracker ends up looking like on calorie command with the secondary metric turned on.
Okay, so now that you know exactly how to access the secondary metric feature on the app, let's dive into a couple of other things I think you need to know. First, reminder, this is a Pro-only feature, so you must be subscribed to Pro in order to have access to secondary metric at all. There are no exceptions. The one thing that I want to make abundantly clear when it comes to tracking your calories or your macros alongside your bites is this. First, the nutrition information that you are using to track your bites must be accurate in order for it to accurately reflect calories or your macros. So for example, if you do a quick add of something, you'd be like, I know that this thing is 5 bites, and you just quick add, write the thing right in the 5 bites, and you don't fill in the rest of the nutrition information, it will not be reflected in your secondary metric. So if you are randomly just adding things in that you know, but the nutrition information is inaccurate, or the nutrition information says 0 calories, and then you look at your calorie count at the end of the day and go, how did I only eat 800 calories? Let's go have some more calories. Hold on and wait before you do that, and double check to make sure all of the calories have been tracked accurately, because it will only reflect what is accurately tracked in your tracker. Does that make sense? For example, one of the famous flukes that's currently, as of the filming of this video, an issue in the iTrackBites app is, for whatever reason, the database says that an apple is 250 calories. An apple is not 250 calories. I mean, you could eat 250 calories worth of apple. That's absolutely possible, but a singular apple is not 250 calories. So, if you went, oh, my apple is 0 bites, and you went and tracked the apple listing that happens to say 250 calories, it will add 250 calories and the corresponding carbohydrate and macro ratio to your secondary metric, even though it is 0 bites. So you want to make sure that if your apple is only 60 calories, you want to make sure that you are tracking 60 calories worth of apple at 0 bites for all of your metrics to reflect accurately. Quite frankly, it is just good practice, even when you are tracking bites, to check and make sure the nutrition information that you are logging is accurate. It's very, very simple. When you scan an item, for example, and all of the nutrition information will pop up, and it'll be the nutrition information that is being used to calculate the bite value of that item based on whatever plan you are on. Always triple check the nutrition information, because a lot of stuff is entered by other users and could be wrong, or the product could have changed and thus the nutrition information changed. So just a solid practice for you to do with any app, the Weight Watchers app, the iTrackBites app, the Lose It app, whatever app you use, is when you scan something or look something up, just double check it for accuracy really quickly. A lot of the stuff I find are accurate, but some of the stuff I find is not accurate. But basically what you need to know is the nutrition information for an item is what plays into the secondary metric. So if you don't care what your calorie count is, then don't worry about it. Just worry about the accuracy of the bites and move on. But if you are going to use the secondary metric, I want to make sure you use it accurately, and so you check the nutrition information to make sure the macros and the calories are correct. One more thing that you should be aware of when it comes to tracking your secondary metric, again, this is just for accuracy's sake. If you are on a plan that has you tracking 0 bite fruit or 0 bite vegetables, ladies and gentlemen, 0 bite does not mean 0 calories. So if you are tracking calories as a secondary metric, you need to track your fruit and vegetable intake. I mean, I guess you don't need to, but then be warned that your calorie consumption will be inaccurate and will not accurately reflect all of the calories you have consumed in a given day. For example, 100 grams, or about 3.5 ounces of strawberries, is 33 calories. Now, at the end of the day, is that a lot of calories? No, it's not. But if you have an entire bowl of strawberries, it's probably about 100 calories that is not accounted for. And if you have 50 calories here, 100 calories there, a couple hundred calories of bananas and apples and things like that, those calories will compound very, very quickly. And it's just something you need to be aware of if you are tracking your calories alongside your bites. Again, if you're on a bites plan and you don't care about the secondary metric, then don't worry about it. Keep on tracking your 0 bite produce, keep on tracking your bites as normal, stay within your bites budget, and the results will come. But if you are someone like me who wants to know the calorie count as well, make sure you're tracking your produce. And yes, this means weighing and measuring your produce. Another thing that you should note is that, like I said in the little walkthrough video, you can toggle between the two. And when I was on carb conscious, I did that quite frequently. We're talking several times a day. I would check my calories, then I'd flip it over to protein to check my protein, then I'd flip it back to calories and watch the calories go throughout the day, flip it back at the end of the day just to make sure I hit my protein goal. You can toggle between the two. Obviously, if calorie command is your first method of tracking, toggling is completely unnecessary because calories and macros will just be on your screen the entire time, which I'm not gonna lie, since I have switched to calorie command exclusively, I am loving that. All of the information I want is right there on the screen all the time. So that's really it. I just wanted to give you guys the real quick 411 on the iTrackBites secondary metric feature, because it is my favorite feature. Seriously, like, of all the things, like, not only did it let me do my carb conscious plan back when I needed to do the carb conscious plan, but simply allowing me to track all of these metrics all at the same time was just the #1 seller for me on iTrackBites, and I absolutely love it and use that feature every single day. There are probably some questions that I have left unanswered, and if that is the case, go ahead and comment down below with your question. I will do my best to answer it, but an amazing resource for all questions iTrackBites related is the iTrackBites Facebook group. The group is called the iTrackBites Participants. I will have it linked down below. And over in that group, the iTrackBites ambassadors make an appearance, but we're mostly hanging out over on Instagram. But the iTrackBites coaches are in the Facebook group and are super active, and they know more than I know about the app. And I know a lot about the app, and my knowledge of the app pales in comparison to some of the wonderful coaches that are available over in that Facebook group. So if I can't answer your question, the best place to go would be to that Facebook group. Like I said, I will have it linked down below for you, so it's really easy to find. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you are new here and want to join the Diva and the Divine community, what are you waiting for? Just click that little red subscribe button and you will be notified every time I upload something new. If there's anything else else iTrackBites related that you would like to see a video on, go ahead and leave me a suggestion down in the comments below. I am open to pretty much anything. Thank you guys for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye.